vida mora, the fault that is fatality in love, as in every other form of will, is impurity. It is not the spontaneity thereof which worketh woe, but some repression in the environment. In the fable of Adam and Eve is this great lesson, taught by the masters of the holy Kabbalah beloved. Were to them the eternal Eden, save for the repression signified by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Thus their nature of love was perfect. It was their fall from that innocence which drove them from the garden. In the love of Romeo and Juliet was no flaw, but family feud which imported nothing to that love. Was it vain, and the rashness and violence of their revolt against that repression slew them in the pure outrush of natural love in Desdemona, for Othello was no flaw. But his love was marred by his consciousness of his age and his race, both the prejudices of his fellows and of his own experience of woman frailty. Hey, Gaston, di amore. Now, as literature of a globe of the murders of love, so also doth history, and the lesson is ever the same. Thus the loves of Abelard and of Heloise were destroyed by the system of repression in which they chanced to move. Thus Beatrice was robbed of Dante by social artificialities, and Paul slain on account of things external to his rock of Dantesca. Then per contra, Martin Luther, being a giant of Wales, and also the 8th Henry of England, as a mighty king bent them to overturn the whole world, that they might have satisfaction of their love. We shall follow them, for even now we find great churchmen, statesmen, princes, drama makers, and many lesser men, overwhelmed utterly and ruined by the conflict between their passions and the society about them, wherein which party errs is no matter of moment for our thought, but the existence of that war is evidence of wrong done to nature.
Divita corridenda no son, that the true principle of self-control is liberty, for we are
born into a world which is in bondage to ideals. To them we are perforce fitted, even as enemies to the bed of Procrustes.
each of us as he groweth learns repression of himself, and his true will it is this folly against self.
These words are written in the book of the law, so therefore those passions in ourselves which we understand to be hindrances
true will, but diseased appetites manifest in us through false early
training. Thus the tablets of savage tribes in such a matter as love constrain that true love which is born in us.
And by this constraint come ills of body and mind. Either the force of repression carries it and creates neuroses and insanities, or the revolt against that force, breaking forth with violence, involves excesses and extravagances. All these things are disorders, and against nature. Now then learn of me the testimony of history and literature as a great scroll of learning. But the vellum of the scroll is of man's skin, of his heart's blood.
Di amore, di amore, di amore, di amore, di amore, di amore.
The thought that is fatality in love, as in every other form of will, is impurity.
It is not the spontaneity thereof which worketh woe, but some repression in the environment, in the fable of Adam and Eve is this great lesson,
Taught by the masters of the holy Kabbalah for love. Were to them the eternal Eden, save for the repression signified by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Thus their nature of love was perfect. It was their fall from that innocence which drove them from the garden.
in the love of Romeo and Juliet was no flaw, but family feud which imported nothing to that love was its pain.
And the rashness and violence of their revolt against that repression slew them in the pure outrush of natural love in Desdemona. For Othello was no flaw, but his love was marred by his consciousness of his age and his race, of the prejudices of his fellows, and of his own experience of woman frailty.
Di amore, di amore, di amore, di amore, di amore, di amore,
as we chit-chat overflowed with the murders of love, so also doth history,
and the lesson is ever the same.
Thus the loves of Abelard and of Heloise were destroyed by the sisu of repression in which they chanced to move. Divita corrigende, know some that the true principle of self-control is before we are born into a world which is in bondage to ideals, then we are perforce fitted, even as his enemies, to the bed of Procrustes. Each of us, as he grows, learns repression of himself and his true will. It is a lie, this folly against self.
These words are written in the book of the law, so there, for those passions in ourselves which we understand to be hindrances are nor art nor part of our true will, but diseased appetites manifest in us through false early training. Thus the tablets of savage tribes in such a matter as love constrain the true love which is born in us, and by this constraint come ills of body and mind. Either the force of repression carries it
and creates neuroses and insanities, or the revolt against that force, breaking forth with violence, involves excesses and extravagances. All these things are disorders and against nature. Now then learn of me the testimony of history and literature as a great scroll of learning. But the vellum of the scroll is of man's skin, and its ink of his heart's blood. Read it that is fatality in love, as in every other form of will, is impurity. It is not the spontaneity thereof which worketh woe, but some repression in the environment.
In the fable of Adam and Eve is this great lesson taught by the masters of the holy Kabbalah, for love were to them the eternal Eden, save for the repression signified by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Thus their nature of love was perfect. It was their fall from that innocence which drove them from the garden. In the love of Romeo and Juliet was no flaw, but family feud, which imported nothing to that. Love was its bane, and the rashness and violence of their revolt against that repression slew them.
In the pure Russian natural love and just
of his age and his race, or prejudices of his fellows and of his...
George Floyd's ability holding his knee into his shoulder blade, pinning him to the ground. Now, the mistake that they made, the thing that deviated from the training, is that George Floyd could have been more on his side to be in a fully recovery position orientation. He wasn't, and that would have had an effect, but it would not have completely eliminated his air. It's obvious that his air wasn't, because through the whole struggle in the same position, George Floyd is breathing. Okay, what the question would be, what did Derek Chauvin do differently in the first 4 to 5 minutes when George Floyd was talking and breathing and asking for help? What did he change in minute 3, or sorry, in the last 3 minutes that suddenly cut off George Floyd's hair? Can you identify that?
The thing is, man, Bill, Chauvin used to work George Floyd Chauvin used to work at a club doing security like 10 years prior. So they both knew each other. So Chauvin knows his type of personality. That's why he said in the fucking video, don't fucking do this. Because he knew his type of personality, that he's high-strung and he's on fucking narcotics, and he knows him personally. I mean, it's like, you go to these cities in Mandela...
And he also knew that if he put his knee on his neck with pressure, that he would cut off his circulation.
Right? So
he also knew that too.
Every fucking geeker and every fucking criminal out there and shit, you probably interacted with
Rich!
And you know the ones that are going to fucking resist and fucking fight you and crash out. And you know the ones that are just gonna stand there and go, you know what, officer, you're right, yeah, I guess I'm taking the fucking ride.
Rich, you know, the difference between the law and racial identity politics, Rich, when does racial identity politics, racism, and the law ultimately get decided categorically? Because the problem is people on this app are so polarized ideologically, they can't separate out identity from law from actual violence. So we have this interplay of words and then this fake reality that they create. A lot of people in this room are not in the real world.
No, I have to push back a little bit on... Hello? Like, yeah, no. So, I have to push back on that. Resistance is an insufferable fucking cunt. No offense, Resistance. But when we talk about...
None taking, because you're in your mother whore, so don't worry about it.
I'm trying to talk junk here, I'm about
I don't give... Oh, fuck, don't mention my name.
Wait, let me get the projection mirror out. The projection detection activation system has been activated. And when Resistance is always talking about people's wives leaving them for cocaine use, that's Resistance's projection.
Multiple personalities. John, all I'm trying to say is I had to give Resistance flowers earlier because he conceded that they did not intend to kill Brianna.
Just give him some perfume.
Strong confirmation. He's willing to fucking didn't intend to kill Brianna.
Rich, sugar babies like handbags, perfume, free vacations, free dinners, free visits to the mall. Resistance is just a sugar baby. Hello? Oh, let me get the projection mirror out so you can all see what Resistance is up to today. Hello? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a human piece of shit, wasting all your time on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Oh, thank God. Peace has been restored. Everyone, go back to the center of the circle, quick. Find your happiness and joy, because people like Resistance will take it away from you.
Center of the circle, you're the pivot man, John.
I'm just saying that I am 100% convinced that this app is dinner for schmucks. And if you don't realize you're the patsy, wasting your time listening to these psychopathic losers on a fucking Friday, ladies and gentlemen, there are a million things you could be doing right now. You're just not creative enough. I'm here to help give you creative intelligence so you can live a more successful life. Your life. A life full of peace. A life full of justice. A life full of truth. A life full of knowledge and intelligence and wisdom. These people are energy vampires. Resistance is an energy vampire. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. They will suck the life from your soul. They are energy vampires. I am complete. Hello?
judge, whose name was Roach, made a comment 2 days after the trial to the television saying, I think the jury got it right. And that was considered not impartial, believe it or not.
Hey, Norm, didn't he say like more than that? Like he gave more context, like juries always get it right or something like that?
I don't know.
I mean, I know that's a typical line. Oh, juries get it right based on, the information given to them.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most common thing people say, I respect, another thing people could say is, I respect the decision of the jury, but I will appeal. They could say that too.
I hope he gets life next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I...
I hope it's a life without and a bunch of black jurors, and they still sentence him to fucking prison. The blacks are going to fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen of Clubhouse, I would also like to submit that this trial, this incident, has created a synthesis which is happening right now in this room without young Carmelo and his victim. Let's remember that Austin Metcalf's sacrifice of his life and his lack of situational awareness has led to this conversation right now. And what's important to know is that right now, you and I can find peace, justice, truth, and knowledge, and live in peace and strength because Austin Metcalf died, was murdered. We, in this moment, we forget the victim. And that's the problem of Bima and her propaganda, is that the political identity, racial identity politics, it doesn't matter. The racial identity politics, what it does is it takes us out of the now. And it's just propaganda. It's not based on law. It's not based on truth. It's not based on justice. It's not based on knowledge. It's raw propaganda. And everyone on this app is subjected to it. But we have to remember the victim. Austin Metcalf's, he was beautiful. His life mattered. And his death is a sacrifice. Just like Christ Jesus. He gave his life so we could be on a conference call app to discuss the situation. The legal industrial complex, restorative justice, CRT, DEI, LGBTQIA, BLM, DEI, CRT, LGBTQIA. What we have to remember is that our lives matter here on Clown House. And you are all here in an experiment, a social audio experiment. And no, I don't work for the CIA. Cappuccino works for the CIA. And the CIA can never be stopped. We get $60 billion a year to record you on Clown House and put you on YouTube. And right now, at this very moment, you're wondering, is Cappuccino John Kitover or is Point Cappuccino? But I'm on NBC every day because I'm a beautiful superstar and you're all a bunch of big... Hey, don't mute me, you big stupid dummy. I came to tell you the truth. Stop muting me. You're just jealous because I'm a supermodel and you're a big stupid dummy. You big stupid dummy, stop muting me. I'm going to go to Politically Correct and talk to First Lady and Ban and all the cool people over there. I'm like, stupid MAGA retard.
Can't have him advertising, huh?
Oh, God. It's horrible. No, we're not as bad as the Brits, but we're fucking heading there. Like a fucking world where a white
sounding like Beaver, it really frustrates me.
Where a white British officer runs up on a scene, sees a dude lying on the ground, complaining about being stabbed, and just goes, "Oh, he must have been a white racist attacking this poor Sikh guy with a fucking sword."
Go ahead.
Repetitive narratives and social conditioning are dangerous weapons. And we have been losing the social conditioning war for 20 years. And there's some pushback, but the pushback doesn't reset to zero. And the social conditioning is such that white people get no benefit of the doubt. Black people literally get away with murder. in many cases where they wouldn't have in the 90s. And I don't see that fully reversing. We're slowing it down. We're not reversing it.
Go ahead, you good, clean black man, Anthony.
Yo, man, listen. United States, we got problems, but I think when you compare our standing to Europe, like it's not even close, man. Europe is fucked. They are completely, they're victims of their own success. Like, they made the world too safe, and they got complacent, and they forgot what made them great. And their shit is, they're like, their battleship is sunk. They're fucked. Like, I don't see that in our future. For like structural reasons, the Second Amendment being one of them, I don't think America's going out like that. So, are things going to change? Hell fucking yeah. I think they're going to change more rapid than any time in history. Like, I have no earthly idea what the world is going to look like in 2030. And I like, I miss the worst case scenario, and I don't even, like, I couldn't even venture to guess how bad things could get. But with all of that said, there's no place I'd rather be than the United States of America. And, that's all there is to it.
Anthony, for the betterment of America, since you love America so much, if we worked out and we concluded that if African Americans return to Africa, all of them, including yourself, would you be willing to take that ride? For the betterment of America.
Listen, that's it goes against my core belief of what America is. America would cease to exist if that's what happened. So ultimately,
have you seen that?
I wouldn't go back to Africa.
Have you seen that skit? I can't remember if it was Key and Peele or one of those guys, or it was like a skit on YouTube, and it says all African Americans have returned back to Africa. It says crime rates have dropped by 70%. It says the NBA has done an indefinite pause, and then it says let's go over to Jamal now, and then it just shows like his clothes in the fucking chair, like he disappeared.
Nah, I haven't seen that skit.
It was pretty funny.
Particularly sound funny, but here's what's up, man.
It's accurate.
Like, we were doing fine race-wise until Barack Obama. I think, unfortunately, he became the catalyst for a lot of this shit. People blame Trump, but I don't blame Trump. If I was to look at the starting point, I'd say it was Barack Obama. Barack Obama was running for office. They asked him, if you lost the race, would it be because of your race? And he said, no, it would be because I failed to articulate a set of ideas that inspired people enough to vote for me. And that's exactly right. That's America. But I think that Barack Obama, because of who he was married to, because of certain things that happened during his presidency, he drank the blackety black Kool-Aid. Barack Obama became an alphabet person and a blackety black. He was probably
Anthony, do you genuinely believe that he actually believed in that type of shit, or do you think he was a extension and or continuation of the Bush family? Because if you look at all the shit that he did, like continuing the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, continuing the contracts with Halliburton, invading or starting the war with fucking Syria, it seems like he was George Bush Jr., but he had to placate to his base by keeping up the racial tension shit.
Well, he started this.
I don't think he really believed 90% of what he's doing. I think it's a Ponzi for the Bush family.
Because they're
Here's
they're
what's up,
cousins,
man.
right, Anthony?
Yeah, supposedly, but
No, you can
here's
just
what's up,
Google
man.
search it. Google search is
I
George
will.
Bush,
As a matter of fact,
Dick
I'll check it
Cheney.
out. I thank you for the information.
So
I'll check it
just
out.
real quick, it's Lyndon Baines Johnson, President Truman, there was like 6 presidents, including Bush Sr., Jr., Dick Cheney, and Obama, who are all related through a Civil War Confederate general. But the thing is, it wasn't like they just found out about it and they're like, oh my God, we did our genealogy and we found out. Like, it was a well-known thing that they all knew that they were cousins.
What general was that?
It was a commander in the Civil War. He was on the Confederate side out of Kansas, which is where all their family originates. But it was like a known thing. Like, they all knew they were cousins.
That may very well be the case, but like, I don't think like stuff like that is even really productive to talk about and focus on. I think we get so far into the weeds.
That he was a rhino in disguise.
De morte vitae. Learn then, O my son, that all phenomena are the effect of conflict, even as the universe itself is a nothing expressed, as the difference of two equalities, or an thou wilt, as the divorce of newit and had it. So therefore every marriage dissolveth a more material, and createth a less material complex. And this is our way of love, rising ever from ecstasy to ecstasy. So then all high violence, that is to say all consciousness, is the orgasm of a passion between two lower and grosser opposites. Thus light and heat result from the marriage of hydrogen and oxygen, love from that of man and woman, dhyana or ecstasy from that of the ego and the non-ego. But be thou well grounded in this thesis corollary, that one or two such marriages do but destroy for a time the exacerbation of any temperance, but to the resonance such as a work of long habit and deep search in darkness for the germ thereof. But this once accomplished, that particular complex is destroyed or sublimated forever. De morbis. Now then, understand that all opal, seat into the way of nature created violence. If thine excretory system do its function not at its fullest, there come poisons in the blood, and the consciousness is modified by the conflicts or marriages between the elements, heterogeneous thus. If the liver be not efficient, we have melancholy. If the kidneys coma, if the testes or ovaries loss of personality itself also, and we poison the blood directly with belladonna, we have delirium vehement and furious with hashish, visions fantastic and enormous with analonium, ecstasy of color and what not, with divers germs of disease, disturbances of consciousness, varying with the nature of the germ also. With ether, we gain the power of analyzing the consciousness. into its planes, and even of discovering the hidden will and judgment upon any question. And so for many others. But all these are, in our mystical sense, poisons. That is, we take two things diverse and opposite, binding them together so that they are compelled to unite. And the orgasm of each marriage is an ecstasy, the lower dissolving in the higher. No, the saw so that at the end of that secret way lieth a garden wherein is a rest house prepared for thee. For to him whose physical needs are not truly satisfied, cometh a physical or lunar sleep appointed to refresh and recreate by cleansing and repose. Him that is bodily pure, the Lord bestoweth a soul or lucid sleep, wherein move images of pure life destined by the true will. And this is called by the Kabbalist the sleep of Shalom. And of this doth also Porphyry make mention, and Cicero with many other wise men of all time compare. O my son, with this doctrine, that which was taught thee in the sanctuary of the Gnosis concern in the death of the righteous, and learn moreover that these are but particular cases of a universal formula. Thee or Dia mortu vitae, Dai mortu vitae. Learn then, O my son, that all phenomena are the effects of conflict, even as the universe itself is a nothing expressed as the difference of two equalities, or an thou wilt, as the divorce of Nuit and Hittites. So therefore every marriage dissolveth a more material, and createth a less material complex. And this is our way of love, rising ever from ecstasy to ecstasy. So then all high violence, that is to say all consciousness, is the spiritual orgasm of a passion between two lower and grosser opposites. Thus, and heat results from the marriage of hydrogen and oxygen. Love from that of man and woman, Diana, or ecstasy from that of the ego and the non-ego. But be thou well grounded in this thesis corollary, that one or two such marriages do but destroy for a time. The exacerbation of any complex to deracinate such is a work of long habit and deep search in darkness for the germ thereof. But this once accomplished, that particular complex is destroyed or sublimated forever. De Morbius. Woman, understand that all opposed, seek into the way of nature created. Violence if thine excretory system do its function not at its fullest. There come poisons in the blood, The consciousness is modified by the conflicts. The marriages between the elements heterogeneous. If the liver be not efficient, we have melancholy. If the kidneys coma, if the test ovaries loss of personality itself. Also, and we poison the blood directly with belladonna. We have delirium vehement and furious with hashish, visions fantastic and enormous, with angelonium, ecstasy of color and whatnot, with divers germs of disease, disturbances of consciousness varying with the nature of the germ also. With ether, we gain the power of analyzing the consciousness into its planes, and even of discovering the hidden will and judgment upon any question. And so for many others. But all these are, in our mystical sense, poisons. That is, we take two things diverse and opposite, binding them together so that they are compelled to unite. The orgasm of each marriage is an ecstasy, the lower dissolving in the higher. Lucido, now know this also, that at the now know the sorcerer, that at the end of that secret way lieth a garden wherein is a rest house prepared for thee. For to him whose physical needs are not truly satisfied, cometh a physical or lunar sleep, appointed to refresh and recreate by cleansing and peace. But on him that is bodily pure the Lord bestoweth a solar or lucid sleep, wherein move images of pure light fashioned by the true will. And this is called by the Kabbalists the sleep of Shiloh. And of this doth also Porphyry make mention, and Cicero, with many other wise men of old time compare. O my son, with this doctrine, that which was taught thee in the century of Gnosis concerning the death of the righteous, and learn moreover that these are but particular cases of an universal formula. My son, if thou fastly, there shall come unto thee a second state of physiological being, in which is a delight. A contentment of weakness, with a feeling of lightness and of purity, and this is because the Buddha observed in its such also is the case with the mind which hath not fed itself on thought,
Consider the placid and ruminant existence of such persons as Red Litter are removed from worldly struggle by some sufficient property of small and unexciting value, stably invested, and by age and environmental truth and passion, according to the Vitae.
Learn then, O my son, that all phenomena are the effect of conflict. Even as the universe itself is a nothing expressed, as the difference of two equalities, or and thou wilt, as the divorce of knew it and had it. So therefore every marriage dissolveth a more material, and giveth a less material conflict. And this is our way of love, rising ever from ecstasy to ecstasy. So then all high violence, that is to say, all consciousness, is the spiritual orgasm of a passion between two lower and grosser opposites. Thus light and heat result from the marriage of hydrogen and oxygen. Love from that of man and woman, dhyana or ecstasy from that of the ego and the non-ego. But be thou well grounded in this thesis corollary that not two such marriages do but destroy for a time. The exacerbation of any antlets to the racinates such is a work of long habit and deep search in darkness for the germ thereof. But this once accomplished, that particular complex is destroyed or sublimated forever demarriage.
Understand now, sit young through the way of nature created. Violence in thine excretory system, to its function on at its fullest, there come poisons in the blood. And the consciousness is modified by the conflicts or marriages between the elements, heterogeneous, the sick, the liver, inefficient, we have melancholy, if the kidneys coma, if the testes or ovaries, loss of personality itself also, and we poison the blood directly with belladonna, we have delirium, vehement and furious with hashish, visions fantastic and enormous with anhedonia, color and whatnot, with diverse germs of disease, disturbances of consciousness, vary with the nature of the germ also. With ether, we gain the power of analyzing the consciousness into its plane, and the discovering the hidden will and judgment upon any question.
And so many others. But all these are, in a mystical sense, poisons, that is, we take two things diverse and opposite, binding them together so that they are compelled to unite. And the orgasm of each marriage is an ecstasy, the lower dissolving in the higher. So that at the end of that secret way lieth the garden wherein is a rest house prepared for thee, for to him whose physical need,
But to him whose physical need,
are not truly satisfied, cometh of physical or lunar sleep, appointed to refresh and recreate by cleansing and coupon.
cleansing, punching, practical.
But on him that is bodily pure, the Lord bestoweth a solar or lucid sleep, wherein move images of pure light fashioned by the true will.
This is called by the Kabbalists the sleepless night. And of this God of Porphyry, graceful and righteous of the injury of the roses concerning the death of the righteous, and moreover that these are the particular cases of a new universal formula.
If thou fast a while, there shall come unto thee a second state of physiological being, in which is a delight, passive and equable, without will a contentment of weakness, with a feeling of lightness and of purity. And this is because the blood need of nutriment, all foreign elements, such also is the case with the mind, which hath not fed itself from thought. Consider the blessed and ruminant existence of such persons as read little, are removed from worldly struggle by some sufficient property of small and unexciting value, stoutly invested, and by age and environment are free from passion. They live according to their own nature without desire, and they oppose no resistance to the operations of time. Such are all happy and in their way of regional love. It is so, for they are free of any poison. Diamo tu, Phaete, learn then, O my son, that all phenomena are the effect of conflict, even as the universe itself is a nothing expressed, as the difference of two equalities, or, and thou wilt, as the divorce of new it and had it. So therefore every marriage dissolveth a more material, and createth a less material complex. And this is our way of love, rising ever from ecstasy to ecstasy. So then all high violence, that is to say, all consciousness is the spiritual orgasm of a passion between two lower and grosser opposites. Thus, light and heat result from the marriage of hydrogen and oxygen, law from that of man and woman, Diana ecstasy, from that of the ego and the non-ego. What be thou well grounded in this thesis scholarly, that one or two such marriages do but destroy for a time the exacerbation of any contacts to derive racinates, such is a work of long habit and deep searching darkness for the germ thereof. But this once accomplished, that particular complex is discreet or sublimated forever is sanguis. How then understand that all of hope seeking to the way of nature created violence? If thine excretory system do its function not at its fullest, there come poisons in the blood, and the consciousness is modified by the
See, then motu, vitae. Learn then, O my son, that all phenomena are the effect of conflict, even as the universe itself is a nothing expressed as the difference of two equalities, or, and thou wilt, as the divorce of Nuit and Hadith. So therefore every marriage dissolveth a more material, and createth a less material comforts. And this is our way of love, rising ever from ecstasy to ecstasy, so that all high violence.
Hey everybody, it's me, Cappuccino. I just came in for a quick cup of coffee with my good friends. I know you're all jealous of me because I'm a beautiful supermodel and I'm on NBC Good Morning America, but that shouldn't stop you from being happy and healthy, having a great day, exhibiting creative intelligence and strength and joy and peace and justice and truth and knowledge, and I love you all. Bye everybody, I gotta go to Politically Correct to go make a quick appearance with Patty and First Lady and Ben and all the awesome Democrat, liberal, progressive pluralists destroying America. I'll be right back.
What were you saying, friends?
I was just.
That is to say, all consciousness is the spiritual orgasm of a passion between two roles opposite. Thus light and heat presents benevolential for androgen and oxygen. Love from that of man and woman.
All kinds of stuff, and it surprised me. It's really surprised me how many people who I thought like would not think that way. Really interesting to me in that regard. In the debate too between she and Andrew Wilson. I mean, I think she did really good. I think she probably won. What do you guys think about that? Did anybody watch the debate?
No, I didn't watch it, but Dr. Adams, I love the new Dr. Adams look. It's just fantastic. You're like the black Sammy Davis Jr. of Clown House now. Keep going with it. Watch more Sammy Davis Jr. videos.
Who was she debating?
She debated Andrew Wilson.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
He's on that podcast.
But be thou well grounded in this thesis corollary, that one or two such marriages do but destroy for a time the exacerbation of any complex, to the ratchet such as a work of long habit and deep search in darkness for the germ thereof. But this once accomplished, that particular complex is destroyed or sublimated forever eti immormes. Some believe the blood, and the consciousness is modified by the conflicts of marriages between the elements. Heterogeneity is lost. If the liver be not efficient, we have melanton. If the kidneys coma, if the testes or ovaries, loss of personality itself. Also, and we poison the blood directly with belladonna. We have delirium vehement and furious with hashish, visions fantastic and enormous with emolonium, ecstasy of color and whatnot, with diverse germs of disease, disturbances of consciousness, varying with the nature of the germ also, with ether. We gain the power of analyzing the consciousness into its planes, and even of discovery, a hidden will and judgment upon any question. And so for many others, but all these are, in our mystical sense, poisons. That is, we take two things diverse and opposite, binding them together so that they are compelled to unite. And the orgasm of each marriage is an ecstasy, the lower dissolving in the higher. Bestoweth a solar or lucid sleep, wherein move images of pure light fashioned by the true will. And this is called by the Kabbalists the sleep of Shalom. And upon also Porphyry make mention, and Cicero with many others.
Understand at least that the disturbers of the peace of mankind do so by reason of their ignorance of their own true wills. Therefore, as this wisdom of mine increaseth among mankind, the false will to crime must become constantly more rare. Also, the exercise of our freedom will cause men to be born with less and ever less affliction from that dis-ease of spirit which breedeth these false wills. But in the while of waiting for this perfection, thou must by law assure to every man a means of satisfying his bodily and his mental needs, leaving him free to develop any superstructure in accordance with his will, and protecting him from any that may seek to deprive him of these vertebral rights. There shall be therefore a standard of satisfaction, though it must vary in detail with race, climate, and other such conditions. And this standard shall be based upon a large interpretation of facts biological, physiological, and the like. Do not think then that by non-action thou dost follow the way of the Tao, for thy nature is action, and by hindering the discharge of thy potential thou dost perpetuate and aggravate the stress. If thou ease not nature, she will bring thee to dis-ease. Free, therefore, every function of thy body and of every other part of thee, according to its true will. This also is most necessary, that thou discover that true will in every case, for thou art born into dis-ease. There are many false and perverted wills, monstrous grooves, parasites, vermin are they, adherent to thee by vice of heredity, or of environment, or of evil training. And of all these things the subtlest and most terrible, enemies without pity, destructive to thy will, and a menace and tyranny even to thyself, are the ideals and standards of the slave gods. False religion, false ethics, even false science.
Consider my son that worked in the farm, or key of the 30th verse. Behold the face of your God, the beginning of comfort, whose eyes are the brightness of the heavens, which provided you for the torment of the earth, the terror
And again, let there be no creature upon earth, or with it.
Hey baby, how are you doing, love? Come on up and show us what you got. Hello? Still thinking of that photo of you, baby, with that thong, with that ass popped up. Hello? Yeah, I know. I'm hot. What can I do? There's nothing I can do about it. I'm a hot chick. I'm a hot girl. I'm a sugar baby. Yeah, I got a screenshot of that ass. In a thong. Dong, 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 dong. Well, I'm just listening to music here. If you don't want to come up, never fear.
Systems, all customs, all ideals and standards which tend to produce uniformity, being in direct opposition to nations, worlds and change, and to develop through variety are accursed. Do thou, with all thy might of manhood, strive against these forces, for they resist change, which is life, and thus they are of death. Save us! That such stagnations are unity, even as the last victory of thy free will is unity. For thy will moveth through free function, according to its particular nature, to the end of dissolution of all complexities. And the ideals and standards are attempts to halt thee on that way. Although for thee some certain ideal be upon thy path, yet for thy neighbor it may not be so set all men a horseback. Thou speedest a foot soldier upon his way indeed. But what hast thou done to the bird man? Thou must have simple laws and customs to express the general will, and so prevent the tyranny or violence of a few, but multiply them not! Others stand first for pity servers of the peace of mankind. Do so by reason of their ignorance of their own.
Consider the bond of a cold clay night, how it maketh man a slave. He must have shelter and food with fierce toil, yet thereby he becometh strong against the elements. 'Tis more force waxeth, so that he is master of such men as live in lands of sun, where bodily needs are satisfied without struggle.
Consider also him that willeth to excel in speed or in battle, how he denieth himself the food he craveth, and all pleasures natural to him, putting himself under the harsh order of a trainer. So by this bondage he hath, at the last, his will. None the one by natural, and the other by voluntary. Restriction hath each to greater liberty. This is also a general law of biology, for all development is structuralization, that is, a limitation and specialization of an originally indeterminate protoplasm, which latter may therefore be called free, the definition of a pedant.
There shall be no perverting in flesh. Every man and every woman have a right in death feasible to give the body for the enjoyment of any other. The exercise of that right shall not be punished either by law or by custom. There shall be no penalty either by loss or curtailment of liberty, of rights, of wealth,
or of social esteem. But this freedom shall be respected of all, seeing that it is the right of the body. For the same reason thou shalt cause full restriction and punishment of any who may seek to limit that freedom for the sake of his own profit, or desire, or ideal. Every man and every woman hath no right either to grant or deny the body, as the will speaketh within, is being made custom the evils of love, which are many, extending to the disturbance not only of body but of mind, and that in obscure paths shall little by little disappear from the face of his unspeakable glory. Though that art the child of mine own bowels, how shall I write to thee concerning children? For herein is the Gordian knot in our whole rope of wisdom, and it may not be severed. No, not of a greater than Alexander the Two-Horned, and it is a balance like that of the egg, and the violence of a Columbus will but crack the tender shell, which we must first of all preserve.
Now sentinel to this fortress standeth the paradox of general-application, and in this large order I will declare it, so that its particular sense may enlighten thy mind hereafter. And this is the paradox, that there are bonds which lead to slavery, and bonds which lead to freedom. All we are bound in many fetters by environment, and it is for ourselves in great part to determine whether they shall enslave us or emancipate. this race as an athlete. It is because I have perceived in my nature that fierce lust and mighty concentration in that well, and I write this letter unto thee, knowing well that thou wilt rejoice exceedingly therein, since it is an expression of thine own will, and it may be a discovery thereof, which thing thou